What is a small, dark place?
A small, dark place is...
A small, dark place.
You're not talking about the script now, are you?
Everyone's place where they want to hide when they're scared, but also somewhere where your fears are hidden as well.
I'm trying not to think too literally about it, I suppose.
Small dark place. I guess your mind. How about that?
A small dark place is actually somewhere where Tim escapes to. That could be in his head or a physical place. But it's actually something I really want the audience to think about while they're watching the film.
What we saw in Susie's script was a bit of a kind of rough diamond, so there was something there that we sort of fell in love with, but we knew it wasn't quite at the stage we wanted it yet. I think this film very much has a story to tell. It has a very interesting protagonist who is basically being tricked by people who don't have his best interest in mind, and he's a very naive character, and it's sort of not a coming of age, but it's certainly someone who's having to face the truth of what people around him are doing to him.
Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay.
It's about a character called Tim who sort of suffers from acute agoraphobia, and he's faced with the reality that he may be someone he didn't realise he was. So it's about his discovery as to whether he's the person he thought he was or he's someone else entirely. The project came about from a desire to make something exciting that would involve and entertain people, take them on a journey.
We shortlisted the scripts, and actually what we didn't realise was that Susie had submitted her script anonymously, and it was a unanimous decision that actually her script was the strongest. We developed the Small Dark Places script together, Susie the writer, Cindy Hanson the script editor, and myself to begin with. We met quite frequently and sort of discussed the changes that we thought would be strengthening the script. And then later on in the process, Ruth Caleb, our exec producer, came on board and also offered up suggestions.
Susie had written it and was going to direct it. So she was very much a sort of authorial voice. And that's another thing that you're always looking for, people who have a voice, who have something sort of fresh to say. And just hearing the way that Susie spoke, reading the script, hearing her enthusiasm, hearing what she felt sort of underpinned it all, that made me feel that here was someone that one very much wanted to take a risk on.
It got tough sometimes, just balancing my job, and it would be sort of getting up at 5:30 in the morning and coming in and maybe doing a couple of hours work, sort of organising things, and then do my day job, perhaps be an hour at lunch kind of having a meeting, and then in the evening again sort of meeting up with everyone. We were constantly looking for a location and just keeping the kind of buzz up about it, and everyone was involved obviously because they're all so busy with their own lives.
The director of photography is generally called the chief technician on set, and they will be responsible for the lighting and the look of the film, and trying to translate what the director is looking for the end result on the film. You have a visual idea of what the sense of the place will be like, and what sort of colours and textures. And obviously once you're looking at actual locations, it's how we can really get the best out of exteriors, interiors, and then your additional input with lighting. It's a big creative process in the sense that you're the right-hand man to the director, and the production designer will be the left-hand man.
No, most probably don't have it in the two hiring. Ideally, you would just build the place and just do everything from scratch, but that's not the reality. So you just work with what you have, and I think it brings challenges actually. It wasn't easy to design around the location. Even you basically forget your initial image of what it should look like. You work with what you've got. You have to be peculiar, because then in the end it's something that gets seen quite a lot, and so you constantly juggle things in your mind. So where shall I actually, the little money that I'm being given for designing the film, where do you pour it? What's worth spending money on and what isn't?
There's a lot of work involved in it. We go through all of the scripts and all the things that we need, make lists, go around the prop houses, try and find those things. We had to get some fake glass for the martini glasses, so we had to travel to Shepperton Studios, and also making a few things as well, like the curtains, the nets. It's just trying to get everything that we need.
Tim is an agoraphobic. He doesn't like to go outside, and he's been stuck in this house for a long time. One of the few people that ever gave him love is Lady Welling, whose house it is. He is married to a very understanding woman called Christine.
She seemed very lovely and loving and supportive and encouraging to Tim, and understanding of his difficulties and issues, and she seems very, loving towards him, but then you find out that she's not all she seems to be. So she's quite a fun character to play.
Simon.
Well, we had a 5-day shoot, and even though it seems quite a long time for the length of film that we've made, it still meant that we had to have quite a lot of, it meant that everyone was on time pressure. So on set, I actually had to make sure that there wasn't any sort of lingering moments, and also putting a bit more pressure on the director to make sure that she doesn't spend too much time on particular scenes, and the shot list that she's started the day with, that she's actually getting them, and then that moving on.
There have been sort of people coming and going, and it's quite a small scale production, but sorting out equipment, making sure we're all crewed up, checking people's availability, finding out about equipment, what equipment we can use, trying to get the best deal, finding location, bargaining. A lot of kind of producing and line producing is about budgeting and trying to get things for as little money as possible. When it's the shoot, when that's all happening and that's live, then you're handing that over to the AD. They really run the show on the day.
Okay guys, nice and quiet for rehearsal then, thank you.
Creating the schedule for Small Dark Place has actually been one of the most interesting challenges. I've never had to schedule anything before, not really. Outside again of like films I used to do at uni and stuff, but not sort of properly. So that has been a challenge, breaking down the script. We're at an advantage at least because everything takes place in one location and there are fairly limited actors. But what I've been having to do is obviously outside of kind of my day job. What was great was to be able to go on the recce and then speak to people and already get some feedback there, right? Like, okay, these are the kind of things I've got to factor in. There's always that sense of compromise. And there needs to be a bit of give and take from crew as well, because, I mean, as much as I've tried to sort of help out on the schedule so far with some things, I fear we may come to a point shortly before shooting when, there needs to be some sacrifices made perhaps some other departments. But obviously I will try to, as desperately much as I can, accommodate as much people as I can in the schedule.
No, not at all. No.
Just before we get into any more scheduling issues, do you mind if we just finish off this?
Of course. Yeah.
Just so we can, I know it's really dull, but can we just talk about ones and zeros and numbers and all that kind of boring stuff on the tapes?
I've been doing sound for about 11, 12 years. My job principally is to capture all the dialogue as cleanly as possible on location. There's loads of different challenges every day, and some of them are physical, literally how do you get all of your kit and yourself and everything into this space and get sound out of it. You've got external problems, which is noises which are outside of your control, which you're trying to eliminate. If you're near to schools or roads or railways or aeroplanes go past, you've got to try and think around those. And then I suppose it's trying to do something that's quite technical, but also trying to do it in an unobtrusive way, to kind of almost be invisible.
I've been doing Jib and Steadicam for nearly 8 years now, and yet I'm out doing a 2-day job for free, not just because Susie's my friend, but for practice and to get better. And I think, you know, some people don't kind of understand that. I think they think, you know, straight out of college they're going to become cameramen or women, and they don't understand that you have to put in a lot of hours. And this isn't the only job that I've done this year for free. I do, you know, maybe at least one a month, and that's for me to get better. You know, and I'm doing documentaries on tellies and feature films that are full paid, yet you still do things like this. A, because you love it, but B, because you need to practice as like anything. I think the most important thing is you've got to, you know, kind of be determined and go for it, I guess.
Tim has a challenge, a daily challenge, where he has to go outside, so open the front door and just grab a bottle of milk, which is right outside the front door. But even that is a huge challenge for him. And we wanted to get a feeling of claustrophobia. So we had an idea, along with the jib operator, Danny Bishop, to put the camera really high and sort of slowly move it down into Tim's eye line, and creating this kind of claustrophobic kind of unsettling feeling.
Sound speed. Mark it. Sound speed.
11, take 2.
Frame. Camera set and action.
You solved it yet, Einstein?
Not yet.
There's a scene where little Tim goes to see his grandmother, who's been apparently quite ill. But he finds her and she seems in quite good spirits. To set up that scene, we had to take the location, which had a nice bed and everything, but we wanted to make a kind of a sort of old-fashioned 4-poster kind of romantic style bed. So it took a while to kind of put up the nets, which were all sort of made by the art department assistant Vicky, and then all the lighting had to be sort of conjured up to create kind of a warm, kind of slightly nostalgic feel.
Okay, so nice and quiet, guys. Is everybody watching monitors? Okay, and action.
Come on, Einstein. It's this way. Follow me.
Oh, Tim, I missed you so much. Why haven't you come to see me for so long?
And I'm going to go for another take, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows about it on this radio, which is my main communication.
Okay, so go again, nice and quiet, please.
Quiet, please. Okay. Locking up, locking off. Making sure people are as quiet as possible.
Okay, let's turn it over then, guys. Stand by.
Turning over.
a lot of list writing, I think, to begin with. Time was very short. I was actually brought in quite late on in the project, so it was a case of list writing. I had two great assistants as well who had already been writing lists and things, so that was quite good. That was kind of already underway. So it was a case of dividing up the time, really. I approached all the hired items, you know, kind of like you line them up on a rail. You've got to be really careful about measuring things like that, because we didn't have time to do cast fittings, which was a wee bit worrying.
But that's pretty close.
So Brooke, I want you to drink that drink much quicker, and I want you to look at Liam when you're doing it.
Give me a second. Hey! What are you doing? Oh, you look fantastic.
The really important thing for me with the party scene was, like I say, to have the variety of different quality of costumes, but also to have a real mixture of different colours, different textures. We have matte with shiny, sequins, glitter, you know, and a real range of light and dark shades and things, because the camera work, I mean, the lighting is so beautiful in that scene, and the dressing. So it was, again, a real collaboration between everyone to get everything working properly.
Oh, you look fantastic! Thank you. Tim! Fabulous costumes!
Pretty nasty. Pretty, yeah, not the sort of person you really want to associate yourself with. Thinks he's the big guy, you know? He thinks he's pretty cool. He's one for the ladies and all that sort of stuff, but he's definitely got a nasty streak in him. I mean, this whole setup is really a pretty evil thing to do.
James Bond, of course, eh? Likes just the thrill.
What inspired me about writing Small Dark Places was thinking about someone and how much fear can influence your life, and how difficult it is sometimes to look past your fears and kind of realise that you can do something that you thought you weren't capable of.
How are we looking, guys? Good? Great, yeah. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Thanks for 10 minutes. That's a wrap. All finished. So,
when the first AD shouts wrap, everyone was so pleased, because it shows that everyone's hard work has come together and we sort of achieved something, and it was really exhilarating. I think emotions sort of were quite high. It was lovely. It was a really nice moment.
Well done, buddy.
Yeah, we should go. Yeah, the horror.
It's just on
the
screen.
I think so.
I thought it was fabulous, of course. Yes.
I mean, everyone put so much effort and so much hard work into it, and with the last day being this kind of hectic, crazy scramble, trying to get the crane shot in, and time, let's go, we've got to get, and then it's just kind of really beautifully paced, and all of the sort of kind of manic behind the scenes thing that we kind of know was part of it isn't there on screen.
Send that to Robert Redford.
Difficult to get my head around at first, but no, it was so interesting to learn how camera and sound, you've got to work together, and I had to stand my ground and kind of say, no, I'm not happy with that sometimes, and kind of you have to kind of bicker as well as work together. It was really nice to see the actual finished product, because obviously you put so much hard work into it and all those hours, and then finally when you see it on screen it pays off, so it's a nice reward.
I've seen it once, and that was really just to take notes because I couldn't be at the grade, so I kind of watched it in an office at the BBC and kind of was making notes, going, okay, lighten up that shot, match that one to this, the dawn needs to be a bit bluer or darker or something. So having finally seen it, it's just really great to see it as a complete piece.
The problem is that it's a short movie. You cannot really develop big score for that. So we decide with Susie to go for something smaller, create more tension, and to have it more sustained.
I see all the holes and all the things that are wrong. So it's nice, and people say they like it, so happy with that.
By creating a drama that hopefully is both intellectually stimulating and enjoyable to watch, it's an investment in the future of drama. It's an investment in the people who make drama. It's an investment in the directors, the producers of the future.